City didn't come out the blocks all guns blazing like Arsenal did, but Arsenal didn't take the chances and they've been punished for it. They've both come away with a point, which I think both teams will be happy with. But yeah, both created chances in the end. Great game of football to watch, and obviously very interesting start to the WSL.
Well, a wonderful advert for everything that's good about the women's game. Miedema back on her old territory with her old teammates. Of course she scored an equaliser after Marnham had given Arsenal an early lead. That was the half-time score. Then Arsenal thought they'd taken the lead, an offside flag went up. Replays proved that it was just wrong, but in fairness, the assistant, well, it was a narrow call. Then City scored through a wonderful finish from Jess Park. They had one or two other chances as well. Miedema should have put City in front, but then Arsenal had chances of their own. Russo denied in a one-on-one by Yamashita, but their equaliser came. Beth Mead tucking it over the line, although City were complaining about a foul in the build-up on Chloe Kelly. But I think with our hands on our hearts, we have to say that a draw is a fair reflection. Final score at the Emirates Stadium, Arsenal 2, City 2. Well, let's go back to the studio, and I'm really intrigued to hear the thoughts of Tash, of Karen and Cel.
Thank you so much to Alistair Mann on commentary, and thank you to you for joining us back on Matchday Live. It is full time at the Emirates Stadium, and our WSL campaign is underway with a 2-2 draw. Alongside me is KB and Tash. KB, do you think that's a fair result across the 90 minutes? Gutted not to get the win, but you'll take the point.
Yeah, I think to be honest, it is. I think Arsenal were on top a lot in that game and made it really, really difficult for City to find rhythm. But yeah, City had, we had our chances. But yeah, I think 2-2 is a fair result overall.
Tash, we were hoping to see, a slightly more improved City, bit more on the ball. Did you see that in the second half? I felt like we kind of got there.
Yeah, it was definitely more improved. I thought they had a little bit more structure. Arsenal, they had solutions to Arsenal's problems that they were causing them. I thought Jess Park's positioning changed slightly. She helped Hasegawa, but I thought City probably looked like the better team. I think second half, even though probably Arsenal had more chances, I just think overall City looked like the better team second half. Yeah,
it felt like we saw the City we were used to seeing. Going into the key moments, the start of the second half, a little bit nervous to begin with. KB, talk us through what happened there with Arsenal.
Oh, man. Well, it feels like there were just lots of different opportunities. I think, like, obviously in the first half, they were getting lots and lots of joy overloading the midfield, and Yui's struggling to kind of get into the game. All I can remember right now, to be honest, is the goal that when Kafaji came on, and obviously really made a difference. But there was that bit of a mix-up with Chloe Kelly getting essentially smushed by Kim Little, and then that cross back for Beth Mead to kind of knock home. But yeah, it just felt like there were just moments in terms of like threatening that back line that were just really intermittent. And over the course of the entire second half, it was just a bit of a momentum swing. Although I would say a majority, like you say, was City on top for a bit of the second half.
Really did. I mean, shall we talk about it then? I mean, we've only had one game of the WSL campaign, but it feels like we might have seen a goal of the season already from young Jess Park. Again, another fantastic performance. Got the goal as well there. I think it was around the 56th, 57th minute to make it 2-1. Talk us through the goal, Tash, because it was a beauty. Yeah,
it was a cross into the box initially. I think Miedema and Bunny Shaw has gone in back post. Miedema's gone up to challenge. I think Cordina's now headed the ball down or forced Cordina to head the ball down into probably a dangerous area for Arsenal. And Jess did really well what Marnham was doing for Arsenal, arriving in the box late. Gets the touch, but her body's obviously facing the wrong way as she's hit half volley and it's just travelled and goalkeeper's just planted and rooted. And I think we were all in a little bit of shock, I think, in the studio when that went on. And it was we said, me and KB, if she gets that an inch wrong or too much power or leans back by a centimetre, that goes over the bar, and we're all saying, why did you shoot from there?
Yeah. I mean,
fantastic strike.
Also, I loved it, Tash, one of your favourite finishes because it came from the the underside of the crossbar as well.
Finish.
It's nice when it
Yeah,
kisses it like that. Isn't
it's
it?
lovely.
You've got to say, though, as well, KB, when we were speaking about the momentum shifts, that then there was probably 15, 20 minutes, couple of great saves from the Arsenal keeper. Probably City were a little bit unlucky not to go 3-1 up.
Oh no, I wouldn't disagree with you at all. I think like if we had to split the game in two, obviously I think it was Arsenal in the first half on top, no doubt. And
100%.
the second was obviously a bit more in City's favour, but yeah, it was a bit kind of like give and take still because we're still trying to attack. We're still getting the fullbacks forward, but obviously, like you mentioned, the wingers were a bit more compact.
Yeah.
Jess dropped a bit more centrally to kind of give a bit more control in the midfield, but yeah. It's a real funny one because I think there were opportunities maybe when fell for Bunny. Obviously Alexandria at the end where she kind of came and like hit it really, really cleanly, but we were just saying it needed a bit more swaz on it. It was just a bit too true. She caught it a bit too well, I think. I'm trying to think of what other opportunities there were. It was just like we're getting lots of balls into the area, but sometimes there was no sort of finesse or like final.
Or it's just missing a play.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just a little, the cleanliness of some of the combinations weren't quite what we were used to seeing.
Do you think that, though, naturally, obviously, it's only the first game of the season, and we were riding high from the 5-0 win in Paris, but it is still early on and still coming into a rhythm and finding that form, which obviously happens once you're maybe 3, 4, 5 games in a little bit, KB.
Yeah, no, I think overall, like I said, we have to credit Arsenal, don't we, as well, because they're a good side, and I think Caldente was absolutely electric today. She made it really difficult for lots of different people all over the pitch. I mean, I think she was making Yui's day a bit of a difficult one, and at one point, she was on both fullbacks. So yeah, she's an absolute handful. But in terms of the course of the season, I mean, this is just you're playing probably one of the most difficult opponents, bar Chelsea. In your first game of the season, and it's kind of a decent result away. You'd take that, wouldn't you?
Yes.
But yeah, we had chances.
Yes.
And Tash, as you said, I think sometimes the best teams find a way, even when it's not necessarily their day. So hopefully we learn from that and take it forward.
That's kind of it, isn't it? Is you'll take the point, Tash, but it is just probably saying when we didn't get to see City at their absolute free-flowing best that we know they can deliver.
Yeah, but I do think we saw City's luck come into play today because Arsenal probably should have had a goal.
Yeah.
The offside one, it should have been given. But yeah, I think it was similar case. First half, Arsenal probably ruled their chances a little bit. Probably should have buried the game by half 45. I think what KB said is right. Second half, City probably look back and think, well, those were the moments we probably should have scored and taken the 3 points.
So it's 1 point to kick off our WSL campaign. Next up for our women's team is, of course, the second leg against Paris. Obviously, already 5-0 KB, so you're not wanting to count any chickens, but we put ourselves in a very strong position to progress, and of course it'll be at the Joy Stadium as well. What are your thoughts to that game?
Yeah, I think, again, it might be an opportunity to take some of the learnings from this game today and kind of see, I mean, obviously we don't know, well, we have an idea of what threat, Paris are going to pose, but maybe tweaking some of the principles, that might be a good opportunity to do that. But I'd quite like to see an opportunity to get some more minutes in the players that maybe didn't make it today.
Yep.
Obviously, selfishly, a couple of the younger girls, I'd love to see make their debuts and stuff like that. But yeah, I still think that was a great test for the girls this afternoon. And I think the performance in midweek will just be about managing the loading as well in preparation for the following weekend.
And we can't also forget, Tash, as well, obviously, that we have struggled to get past this first stage of the Champions League. So it'll be really exciting, and it's a great opportunity to do that and, give the season as well that extra little bit of, spark and something as well, another potential of a trophy.
Yeah, I think if they can, stay in the competition for as long as they can, I think it'd be great. I think what we have to see from City, especially playing in the Champions League, is adaptability. I think Gaz and probably staff and players have to be able to adapt to opponents probably in front of them, because some games are going to be different than what they're not used to in the league. But yeah, it's an exciting season, especially if they can get over the line. Hopefully having a 5-0 lead, I'm sure they can. But I think it's a good opportunity for, reasons like KB said, to bring in the youngsters as well.
Absolutely. Well, listen, KB, Tash, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've loved it. Thank you so much to you both. And thank you to you for joining us and watching. So there we have it. Now, don't forget, Matchday Live will be with you for that second leg against Paris here in Manchester. We'll be bringing you that live. So make sure you do tune in. You can get the game on City Plus. That's how you can watch that full second leg. And we'll be bringing you a Matchday Live show as well. But for now, it's time for me to say goodbye. And I'll be with you in, well, just under an hour, because I'm staying right where I am, because what's happening behind me is now our second fixture against Arsenal, but it's our men's team. Of course, 4:30 kickoff against Arsenal, another tantalising clash. I'm going to be joined by Paul Dickoff and none other than making his Matchday Live debut, legend Niall Quinn. So make sure you come join us, but go get yourself a drink, go get yourself a brew. We'll calm down, and I'll be back in under an hour. But thank you again to Tash and to KB, and thank you to you. Have a lovely Sunday afternoon if you're off, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
The Jonas Brothers have taken Manchester by storm as they performed at the Co-op Live Arena, and Joe Jonas is a huge Manchester City fan. So the players have challenged me to try and see how many Jonas Brothers song titles I can squeeze into conversation while giving Joe a tour. So let's see how I can get on. So obviously, thank you guys so much for coming in. Hopefully you've enjoyed your time with us at the Joy and at the CFA so far.
Yeah, great.
It'd be lovely to hear from you both about what City means to you as a club. You've been fans for a little while now. Not quite experienced all the roller coaster highs and lows type of things, but you're experiencing a pretty exciting time to be a City fan.
It's a great club to be a fan of. I mean, it's so exciting to be here, to see it in person. I mean, it's an unbelievable facility, and yeah, it's an exciting time, but we're quite familiar with highs and lows being New York Giants fans, so we're no stranger to that. I'm not wishing that on our team, but you know, you got to support it in the tough years too.
Yeah, you're only human. You don't want to almost like jinx us in this situation of kind of getting the badge.
I'm not doing that. No.
No. You know, who's your favourite City player? Is that something that you guys are into, and kind of having a favourite player that you look out for?
I like Kevin.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah.
He's a good one. Jack.
Yeah.
It's tough. I hesitate. I feel like Kevin, but I like Jack and Bernardo and Holland and everybody. I mean, it's such a great team. Like, everyone is so special.
Yeah, they all have their strengths, and it's also fun to see like some of the younger kids come in and just like really show up. It's amazing.
Is there any player that you would, let's say you're stuck on a desert island, and a player's got to come to your aid, who are you sending that SOS call to?
Holland.
Holland?
I think Holland can put me on his back and swim all the way home.
And you mentioned in front of the Co-op Live crowd last night that you're City fans. It was a bit of a mixed reception.
I knew what I was walking in myself into.
Yeah.
Obviously, being a city like this, it's split. But I think there's more screams than boos.
Have you tried to convert Nick and Kevin? Do they care much about football, or is it just you guys?
We're in the works.
Okay.
The brunch mimosas called their names today, but I feel like there's still time to win them over.
Yeah. Is there any words of encouragement that you have for the team going into the season? Obviously, it's early on, but you know, pushing maybe for a record-breaking title again. What would you say to the team?
Look, I think they don't need any advice, but I would say be yourself. Just kidding. No, I mean, I think they know what they're doing. As long as they're passing the ball, I know you're good, but remember, your teammate's just as good.
That's good advice. I like that. Well, again, thank you so much for coming down and joining us, and we hope you enjoy your time at the Etihad as well.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you.